One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a beautiful Topless Taco Tuesday. Great to see everyone in the chat, man. Let's get it. Good morning, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever the hell you guys are from. Much love, honor, respect, everybody. We are discussing Iran today, Iran War, Day 11. Hegseth and Caine are coming out from the Pentagon this morning, and they discuss and give us an update on Operation Epic Fury. That's mainly the main title of this whole thing today. But let me go ahead and give you guys a chronological breakdown of what we're going to be discussing today. So Israel strikes, or Iran strikes Israel and Gulf states, and we have that footage for you guys. Now, I think Iran is definitely doing itself a disservice by shooting at some of its neighbors, the Gulf states, and, Qatar being one of them, for instance. But nonetheless, definitely not making good neighbors right now. They're a little fucking pissed off at that. Trump takes questions on Iran. Of course, we have that for you guys. That happened yesterday evening, afternoonish. And then we have something very interesting in the media that popped up, and I thought, well, this is what we do. We're not going to only hyperfixate on one thing. We can discuss all of the things that are happening in the world news, geopolitics, American news, all of it. We have something here in our own nation, here in the United States, something going on. A prank gone wrong. Georgia teacher dies after being hit by student's car. Says Georgia teacher dies after prank gone wrong. And it was an 18-year-old student that did it. But we're going to discuss that here in a little bit, obviously. Then we have Trump on Iran, and operation will be ended, quote, very soon. That was just 14 hours ago for context. And then last night as well, U.S. soldiers killed during Iran operations return home in dignified transfer. Now, as you guys know, we've been watching the ceremonies as they've been, unfortunately coming back unalived. And they do a little bit of a service while they do the transfer. And then we have Trump. He says he's disappointed, that's his quote unquote, disappointed with Iran's choice for new leader. Well, I don't think anybody is surprised by that. Netanyahu and Trump said they wanted some sort of say in who's going to be the next successor. And of course, that didn't happen, right? So, and then we have oil prices continue to swing wildly amid the Iran war. And as you guys are watching the craziness of the gas prices, diesel prices, everything going up, it's brutal. Then we have an update from the Pentagon, and that's this morning, just a couple of hours ago. We get a war update from Hegseth and General Caine. Vows intense day of strikes on Iran, which is, they're discussing today that they're going to be basically blasting them like a motherfucker. So that's what's happening. So anyways, real quick, listen, let's go ahead and do our call to actions real quick, and then we'll get right into it. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are on the vertical side, make sure you guys double tap that screen and hit that subscribe button. This is what we do Monday through Friday, reporting world news, geopolitics, American news, American politics, all of that, breaking news. Listen, this is what we do, and we consolidate it into a single hour. We don't sit here all day discussing news and all that. We consolidate everything and get it right to you guys. So thank you guys for that. Now, please consider becoming a member, though, starting only at $3.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, and of course the campaign trail, man. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. We also have a Discord server for all of you legends to continue these conversations with me after the show on the Discord server. Make sure you guys go down into the video description down below of any live video that we are doing, and it'll have the Discord invite link. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, by the way, we have these platforms that you guys can donate to at any time during the show and interject, get your voice heard, and I'll read them out loud just like a super chat. And I've got my email up, ready to go. So I very much appreciate it. All right, so let's go ahead and see. We got Virginia Chaos coming in, gifting out a membership to start it off. Let's freaking go, my man. Thank you very much for that. Goes a long way helping me and also someone else in the IWF. Good morning to all you legends, man. I see a whole bunch of you guys. We got Rabbit of Chaos. We got Pablo. We got Steve Easy. We got Alabama Moose, my man. Great to see you in the chat. This is also, just so everyone knows, Alabama Moose is the guy that's going to be doing all of our short form content, and he's going to be editing, making some really cool reels and shorts for us for the channel. So we're doing our best to become 1% better every day. We got Papa Penguin in the building. Shout out to my man. We got neighbor guy. Great to see you. He says, "What up, nerds and virgins?" Great to see him. We got let's see here. We're scrolling down. We got Naomi in the chat. Good morning to you. And we got Virginia Chaos, of course. Great to see you. Scrolling down as fast as we possibly can. We got Junkyard, my man, saying we live, baby. That's facts. We got my man Gary as well as Dylan Patterson. Yes, sir. Good morning to you. We're scrolling as fast as possible. We got Shadow in the building. Shout out to my man. And we got Miss Lotus as well as Elevator. Great to see you guys. Happy Topless Taco Tuesday. Thank you all for being here. All right, so we're about to get into the craziness, man. Here we go. We're going to start off with Iran strikes Israel and Gulf states. Probably not a smart thing to start hitting the Gulf states. Just saying.
For more on all of these developments, I do want to bring in Josh Haston with the Jewish News Syndicate. And Josh, we appreciate you taking the time to join us here on Live Now from Fox.
What up, No? Great to see you in the chat, by the way.
So I did want to start off with the announcement that Iran made, naming the successor.
Before we do it, though, we got Papa Penguin coming in with the 26 months, by the way. Thank you very much for that. It says, best part of being a member, you get a free message or massage, I'm guessing, every month. You can make Insane Wheels talk like your puppet. Oh, shit. That is true. So you meant message. And I'm like, where are you going at with this motherfucker? But bruh. Thank you for the 26 freaking months. And that's true. You can make me speak like a puppet with a membership because you get to write in whatever the fuck you want me to repeat. And I'm sorry, I'm just an illiterate fuck, so it is what it is. We got Seymour Cannabis. Shout out to my man. Good morning. We got America Uncensored, AU in the chat. Good morning to you. And yeah, this seems legit. Exactly, Steve Easy. Do you know how many times Josh and the other guy, I forget his name from the Jewish News Syndicate, I forget what his name is, but anyways, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, totally unbiased, right? No, but I get it. Trust me.
The slain supreme breeder, Khamenei, the son. What do you make of this latest announcement?
So on one hand, we heard from President Trump calling him a lightweight. On the other hand, I think that, from what I understand, he could be even more extreme than his father, the Ayatollah himself.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
So it's a clear indication Iran has no intention of giving up at this juncture. But that being said,
we already know this shit. Let's go and see what this is. This is from Rapid Response
We are
47.
talking about the current Iranian regime, saying, quote, this is a terroristic regime, and we are seeing them conduct terrorism using
So this is what the quote is what Marco Rubio said.
nation-state elements, using weapons like missiles and one-way attack drones. And the objective of this mission is to destroy their ability to continue to do that. And we are well on our way to achieving that objective. Josh, as we see the successor named, that being the son of the slain supreme leader,
So
President
Jimmy Mack, as of right now, there are reports that he might be quote unquote injured because I think our administration went after him. I think he's injured, but I think he's still alive. So Trump has been asked about it since.
Trump has said that he needs to approve the new leader.
No, it wasn't Trump. Was it Trump? Or it was Hegseth this morning that I think that they were discussing it.
Also stating the son is an unacceptable choice. Israel saying that it would kill whoever succeeded the slain supreme leader, as you mentioned, unless Iran ended its hostile policies.
What's up, Cameron?
So the question that I have for you is, what does this mean when it comes to Operation Roaring Lion as well as Operation Epic Fury? Because these were open-ended timelines that we have received. We've also heard from President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu indicating that they will not stop until the regime is overthrown. President Trump saying that he needs to approve the new leader.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. That's because it looks like both Israel and the U.S. are in it to win it, are in it until the regime changes. This is a
We already know that.
regime that massacred at least 32, if not 35,000.
Oh shit! Real quick, we got Motobomb coming in with the raid and Carney Vanguard as well. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys very much for the Coffee Crew raid. I very much appreciate all of you legends over there, man.
Of its own people. And here we are in Israel, literally with missiles around the clock. Just a few minutes ago on my phone, an alert that there were more missiles in northern Israel, whether it was Hezbollah firing from Lebanon or the Iranians directly. This has to be open-ended until the regime goes. The president making it clear, and the prime minister as well, that this was a generational opportunity for the Iranian people to take back their country, which was taken from them rather cruelly back in 1979. You're talking about 47 years of terror against their
What's up, Extra Surprise? Good morning.
own people, and of course the rest of the world. Anguish, no freedoms or whatnot. And that's what we're fighting for here. That's what Israel's fighting for. That's what the U.S. is fighting for. We're fighting for freedom. Khamenei, whether the father or the son, are absolutely unacceptable. The regime has to go once and for all.
I want to ask
Okay,
you this,
well, we
Josh,
know
because
we know your fucking motives. All right, that was enough explaining your motives. I'd like to actually hear some shit though. Let's see if it purposely jumped me up to here. Let's see if we get any context here.
The octopus once and for all.
You know, you were mentioning October 7th, the conflict with Hamas.
Jesus Christ. Can you stop talking about shit that's actually irrelevant right now? All right, this is from U.S. Central Command. We got to see this.
Iran, and I wanted to share this. This is from the U.S. Central Command. It says Russian and Iranian media claimed earlier today that a U.S. Patriot missile missed while intercepting an Iranian missile or drone and inadvertently hit a neighborhood in Bahrain. Lie. What really happened? An Iranian drone struck a residential neighborhood, injuring 32 civilians in Bahrain, including children who required medical treatment, according to Bahrain's government. Truth. As we're talking about propaganda and we're talking about the civilian population in Iran, President Trump continuing to encourage them to take this opportunity and
My man Prez in the building. Shout
rise
out.
up. Can you talk a little bit more about the, the propaganda that the current regime is trying to push on the civilians and change the narrative?
What's up, chatting with Stacks as well as Pablo, my man. Good morning to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw this with Hamas time and time again, whereas a Hamas rocket would fall short, land in or near a hospital, and they would automatically blame Israel. The same situation is here.
Oh my fucking God, this guy. Can you just stop sucking them off right now? Like for just a second?
Bruh.
Come on, bro. All right, let's see if we get any other like major tweets or posts in this. We do not. Okay, that means we move on. So let's go ahead and watch what Trump takes questions on Iran. Let's go ahead and bring that up now. This happened late afternoon yesterday.
In Florida, let's go out right now to Doral. President Trump's news conference starting.
It's been a very big 2 days, I have to say.
Bring up the volume, please.
We'll be heading back to Washington, D.C. right after this. And I'd like to wish everyone a very good evening. And over the weekend, the United States military and the Israeli Defense Forces continued Operation Epic Fury very successfully. Over the past 9 days, we've carried out some of the most powerful and complex military strikes and maneuvers the world has ever seen. Now, you add that up to all of the other things, Midnight Hammer, getting rid of the nuclear threat from Iran, which was a big moment in history, in my opinion, and the great success we've had in Venezuela and all other places. Every place we've gone, we've had tremendous success. But while we're doing all of these things, we're achieving major strides toward completing our military objective. And some people could say they're pretty well complete. We've wiped every single force in Iran out very
What's up, Liquored Up with Poncho, my man? Good morning to you.
completely. Most of Iran's naval power has been sunk. It's on the bottom of the sea. It's almost 50 ships. I was just notified it's 51 ships. I didn't know they had that many. Didn't last very long. And these are fighting vessels. They're
So 51 have been destroyed or sunk? I'll just back it up real quick just so I can get context behind that number.
50 ships. I was just notified it's 51 ships. I didn't know they had that many. Didn't last very long. And these are fighting vessels. They're meant to fight, but they're not meant to fight against us. We continue to target Iran's drone and missile capabilities. Their drones are way down. Their drone manufacturing's been hit starting today. We know all of the places they manufacture the drones, and they're being hit one after another. Their missile capability is down to about 10%, maybe less. We're also hitting where they make missiles and where they deliver missiles. We've struck over 5,000 targets to date, some of them very major targets, and we've left some of the most important targets for later in case we need to do it. If we hit them, it's going to take many years for them to be rebuilt, having to do with electricity production and many other things. So we're not looking to do that if we don't have to. But they're the kind of things that are very easy to hit, but very devastating if they are hit. We are waiting to see what happens before we hit them. We could take them all out in 1 day, but it's all resulting in a 90% decline in various things, but in particular, Iranian missile launchers and 83% drop in drone launchers. As you know, the drone launchers are pretty well shot, but we're at over 90% decline in the Iranian missile launchers, which is very hard to reproduce and very hard to get. And usually what we were able to do through great equipment, a lot of smart people, as soon as they sent a missile up from a launcher, we were able to knock out that launcher within a period of 5 minutes or less, accurately right on the noggin. So now we have low-cost interceptors effectively combating Iranian drones, and our B-2 bombers recently dropped dozens of 2,000-pound bombs to destroy missile launchers all over Iran and buried deep under Iranian soil in many cases. The soil was no match. And we're also annihilating the manufacturing base that the regime uses to build drones and missiles at a rate that nobody thought was possible. We're knocking them out. We know where they all are. We're knocking them out very quickly. We're ahead of our initial timeline by a lot. I would say that we probably would not have thought after a month we'd be here. In addition to the fact that we've taken out the leadership twice and maybe 3 times. And we, as you know, we want to be involved. We don't want another president that maybe wouldn't be willing to do what I'm willing to do for the good of the world, for the good of our nation, to be stuck with a situation in 5 years or 10 years from now. So we think they should put a president in or the head of the country in that's going to be able to do something peacefully for a change. They've
Yeah, well, they already made the decision.
been doing this for 47 years, killing people for 47 years, whether it's the barracks or even the SS Cole where they were involved. Very strongly, they always denied it. But they were very strongly involved in all of the people that died through the roadside bombs, died and are right now walking around with no legs, no arms. A face that's
Hey, I only got 1 leg.
been so badly damaged. The Iranian regime has been attacking Americans and spreading terror for 47 years, and despite these countless opportunities to renounce their nuclear ambitions, which they had just a short while ago, they told Mr. Witkoff, who is standing right over here. They said, they actually said, we want to keep building. Essentially, in a real nutshell, we want to continue to build nuclear weapons. If we didn't knock out Midnight Hammer, if we didn't knock out their Iranian potential, if we didn't do that with Midnight Hammer, they would have had a nuclear weapon. They would have used it long before now. And at a minimum, Israel would have been annihilated. I was very lucky that we had the courage to do that, that we had the talent.
Why would they be annihilated? They've got nukes too.
Pilots and the great equipment. The B-2 bombers are unbelievable. We ordered 25 more, by the way. The newer, better version. It's we have the greatest military in the world. We have the greatest equipment in the world by far. You see that no matter where we go. You still need the people, though, to operate it and to use it. And those are the people that we cherish, even after we.
Yes, I did see that, Steve Easy. I've been watching that whole story about that school.
Obliterated their key nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer. They never negotiated in good faith. They still continued to say, we want to build nuclear. We want enrichment at levels that were unacceptable. And they even turned down an offer for unlimited free nuclear fuel forever for civilian purposes. We had people offering them free nuclear fuel. They weren't interested in that because they wanted to build a nuclear weapon. So instead, the regime was trying to reconstitute its weapons program at a different site. They couldn't go back to where they were, the 3 sites that we obliterated, but they were starting work at another site, a different site, different kind of a site. And that was protected by granite. They wanted it protected. Granite's pretty good, but they wanted it protected by a lot deeper. They wanted to go a lot deeper, and they started the process while rapidly building conventional ballistic missiles. They were going to do it all at the same time. It threatened our overseas bases and soon could have reached even our homeland. The regime's intention.
What's up, Tiffany? Good morning to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday so far.
Was to use this exponentially growing ballistic missile threat to make it virtually impossible to prevent them from obtaining a nuclear weapon. So as you probably saw, they had a tremendous number of missiles, most of which have now been used or destroyed, and very unsuccessfully used because we have been able, for the most part, to shoot them all down. What incredible technology. The Patriots have been unbelievable, and other things. And the laser technology that we have now is incredible. It's coming out pretty soon. Where literally lasers will do the work of, at a lot less cost, do the work of what the Patriots are doing or what other things are doing. The situation was very quickly approaching the point of no return, and the United States found it intolerable, in my opinion, based on what Steve and Jared and Pete and others were telling me. Marco, so involved.
What's up, Patricia from Texas? Shout out to Texas. And we got Jack as well. Good morning to you guys. Hopefully you're both enjoying your morning so far.
That I thought that they were going to attack us. I thought they would, if we didn't do this at the time we did it, I think they had in mind to attack us. And if you notice, they did something which was very foolish, very stupid, I would say. They attacked their neighbors. And the neighbors were largely neutral, or at least weren't going to be involved. And they got attacked. And it had the reverse effect. The neighbors came onto our side and started attacking them, and actually quite successfully. If you look at Saudi Arabia, you look at UAE, Qatar, and others. But they were strong and they were smart, but they got attacked. Nobody, when I first heard it, I said, no, somebody made a mistake. There was no mistake. UAE had over 1,000 missiles shot at it, knocked them almost all down. On the very first day I came down the escalator in 2015, I said, quote, I will stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. And all I'm doing is keeping my promise. Think of that. That was in 2015. I said it. It was a threat then and a much bigger threat now, but no longer a threat, not for a long time anyway. We want to keep it that way. As we continue Operation Epic Fury, we're also focused on keeping energy and oil flowing to the world. And I will not allow a terrorist regime to hold the world hostage and attempt to stop the globe's oil supply. And if Iran does anything to do that, they'll get hit at a much, much harder level. I will take out those targets that were easy and that I mentioned just before. We'll take them out so quickly, they'll never be able to recover, ever. If they want to play that game, they better not play that game. In the long run, oil supplies will be dramatically more secure without the threat of Iranian ships, drones, missiles, nuclear menace, or anything. So the Strait of Hormuz is going to remain safe. We have a lot of Navy ships there. We have the best equipment in the world, inspecting for mines. Again, most of their ships are down at the bottom of the sea, but we will hit them so hard that it will not be possible for them.
What's up, Mark? Great to see you in the chat. By the way, hopefully you're enjoying your Taco Tuesday or your Topless Taco Tuesday.
Them or anybody else helping them to ever recover that section of the world if they do anything. In recent years, the regime and its terror proxies have launched attacks on hundreds of commercial vessels. We're putting an end to all of this threat once and for all, and the result will be lower oil prices, oil and gas prices for American families. We've done that. We've done it. We brought it very low. This was just an excursion into something that had to be done. We're getting very close to finishing that, too. In the meantime...
Whoa. My man Sterling Will coming in with a freaking bomb. Let's freaking go. 5 gifted memberships for you guys in the Insane Wheels family, man. Man, I really appreciate that. Thank you for making it rain in the chat for everybody, bro. Thank you very much. Great to see you in the chat, and happy Topless Taco Tuesday to you too, kind sir.
During this brief disruption, the United States is offering political risk insurance to any tankers operating in the Gulf. So we're putting up risk insurance. We'll perhaps go alongside of them for protection. We don't think it'll be necessary if it is. And if they do anything, the price will be incalculable. It will be so great that they will have wished they never did it, because you have to keep the straits flowing.
Ron Ratty, my man over there from down under in Australia. Great to see you in the chat, bro. Good morning
With all of
to
that, it affects other countries much more than it does the United States. It doesn't really affect us. We have so much oil. We have tremendous oil and gas, much more than we need. We have Venezuela now as our new partner, great partner. They've worked out so wonderful. We're working with the administration, the president, and it's a massive source of oil, gas, everything. But we're in a very good position, but very unfair to other parts of the world, like China as an example. I mean, we're doing this for the other parts of the world, including countries like China. They get a lot of their oil through the straits. So we're doing this. We have a very good relationship with President Xi in China.
What's up, sick bastard? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat. I heard you were busy this morning. I even hopped on the Coffee Crew panel. I didn't see you there. Man, he was out shopping at Publix or some shit.
Going there in a short period of time, and we're protecting the world from what these lunatics are trying to do, and very successfully, I might add. We're also waiving certain oil-related sanctions to reduce prices. So we have sanctions on some countries. We're going to take those sanctions off till this straightens out. Then who knows, maybe we won't have to put them on. There'll be so much peace. But when the time comes, the U.S. Navy and its partners will escort tankers through the strait if needed. I hope it's not going to be needed, but if it's needed, we'll escort them right through. And we have the greatest mind-sweeping ability. We have the great...
Real quick, we got Sterling Will coming in with the 420 saying, good morning, kids. Vacation starts soon. Yes, sir. Thank you for making it rain in the chat again, by the way. But now it only benefited me. No, but hey, very much appreciate you, Sterling. Great to see you in the chat, bro.
Ships and
hopefully vacation's going to be awesome.
Where they're placed, we'll get them out of there very fast. But we hope we don't have any of that. And again, if they do that, if they play that game, we're going to hit them at a level that they have not seen before. So we're winning very decisively. We're way ahead of schedule. Our military is the greatest in the world, with the greatest equipment and the greatest people in the world. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Iran's a very powerful country. They were going to take over the Middle East. If we did not hit them, they were going to take over the Middle East. They had thousands and thousands since their last hit. They had thousands and thousands of missiles and everything else. Most are now destroyed, but they were going to take over the Middle East. Those weapons were aimed at Middle Eastern countries that had nothing to do with this. They were going to take over the Middle East, and they were going to try and destroy Israel.
My man, Jack Telcott, great to see you in the chat as well. Blessings to you, kind sir. Great to see you.
So we stopped it with good timing, and we're very proud to be involved in this, and it's going to be ended soon.
Because I don't want to sit here all fucking day, CT. I want to fucking, actually we have other things to report on and shit. Yeah, we have at 1.25 times playback speed right now.
And if it starts up again, they'll be hit even harder. Thank you very much for being here. Go ahead. Any questions?
Some questions real quick.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Do you approve of Iran's new supreme leader? And secondly, can you tell us more about your call with Russian President Vladimir Putin today?
Yes.
What did you discuss?
Yes, I had a very...
Be safe out there, Gary. And by the way, make sure you guys hit that like button. We have over 160 people in here currently. Double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. I very much appreciate you guys.
Good call with President Putin. We had a lot of people on the line from our side, from his side. We were talking about Ukraine, which is just a never-ending fight. And there's tremendous hatred between President Putin and President Zelensky. They can't seem to get it together. But I think it was a positive call on that subject. And we obviously talked then about the Middle East. And he wants to be helpful. I said, you could be more helpful by getting the Ukraine-Russia war over with. That would be more helpful. But we had a very good talk, and he wants to be very constructive. Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Iran, you called it an excursion. You said it would be over soon. Are you thinking this week it will be over?
No,
Are you
but
talking
soon.
about days?
I think soon.
Okay, and with respect
Very
to...
soon. Look, everything they have is gone, including their leadership. In fact, there are 2 levels of leadership, and even actually, as it turns out, more than that. But 2 levels of leadership are gone. Most people have never even heard about the leaders that they're talking about. So it's obviously been very, very powerful, very effective.
To Cuba, you said that Cuba wants to make a deal.
Yes.
What would the United States get in return for that, and why should Americans trust Marco Rubio to negotiate it?
What's up, brother KP? I would say probably because of the position he's in and he actually speaks the language.
Well, Marco Rubio is doing a great job. I think he's going to go down as the greatest Secretary of State in history. Look at what we've done as a presidency. Look at what we've done as an administration. They trust Marco, and so do the American people trust. He's been successful no matter where he's been. He also speaks the language, which is always nice and always helpful. But he's dealing, and it may be a friendly takeover. It may not be a friendly takeover. It wouldn't matter because they're down to, as they say, fumes. They have no energy. They have no money. They're in deep trouble on a humanitarian basis. And we don't want to see that, but they were very, very bad to a lot of people, as you know, and a lot of people living the Cuban-American vote, which I got at record levels. Very important. Those people are very important to me. I know what they went through. They went through hell. Some of them have gone on to be...
What's up, Two-Wheel Jesus?
Some of the most successful people in the country. Cuban-American business people, some of them are like the most successful in the country. And a lot of them are friends of mine because I've been fighting this battle with them for a long time. The Castro regime was brutal, but they lived off Venezuela. Now they don't live off Venezuela. Sends them no energy, no fuel, no oil, no money, no nothing. They lived without Venezuela. They couldn't have made it. And we cut them off from everything else. So, yeah, they're going to make either a deal or we'll do it just as easy anyway. Yeah.
I gave a way better answer than Trump gave, so.
Go ahead.
Strike and a Tomahawk missile likely destroyed that Iranian girls' school. So will the
getting questioned on it again. Ooh, getting pressed on the school.
Americans, will the U.S. accept any responsibility?
Well, I
for
haven't
that strike?
seen it, and I will say that the Tomahawk, which is one of the most powerful weapons around, is used by, is sold and used by other countries, you know that. And whether it's Iran, who also has some Tomahawks, I wish they had more, but whether it's Iran or somebody else, the fact that a Tomahawk is very generic. It's sold to other countries, but that's being investigated right now.
Stop the cap.
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Mr. President, you've said the war is, quote, very complete, but your defense secretary says this is just the beginning. So which is it, and how long should Americans be prepared
Well, I think
for
you could
this war
say
to last
both.
for?
It's the beginning. It's the beginning of building a new country, but they have no Navy. They have no Air Force. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. It's all been blown up. They have no radar. They have no telecommunications, and they have no leadership. It's all gone. So, you could look at that statement. We could call it a tremendous success right now as we leave here. I could call it, or we could go further, and we're going to go further. But the big risk on that war has been over for 3 days. We wiped them out in the first 2 days. When you think about it, it's incredible. We wiped out a big Navy, very powerful Navy. These were ships. These were serious ships. These were ships that you buy when you want to win battles. They're all on the bottom floor. The sailors are all...
By the way, we have 234 people in here. You guys don't have to like all the craziness that's happening around the world or with the United States, but you guys can like the video for me and what we do here. So make sure you guys hit that like button and double tap the screen if you're on the vertical side.
Running off the ships. They refuse to get on the ships. The Air Force is gone. Everything's gone. The missiles are down to a trickle. The drones are down to probably 25%, and they'll soon be down to nothing. We'll have where they manufactured the drones.
Correct, Sterling.
Under fire. As we speak, they're being hit. So the rest is going to be determination as to my attitude, along with the people in the Trump administration, what we want to do. Thank you. Yeah, please.
Can I ask you, you mentioned you were going to waive certain additional oil waivers or sanctions. Can you talk a little bit more about that and address in particular?
Well, we're looking to keep the oil prices down. We went artificially up because of this excursion.
Artificially? I mean...
Excursion into a very positive thing. I mean, this was an excursion that a lot of people wouldn't have done. I knew oil prices would go up if I did this, and they've gone up probably less than I thought they'd go up. But I don't think anybody...
Come on, dude.
Stop the cap.
...thought we were going to be this quickly successful. This was a military success, the likes of which people haven't seen. We have the best military.
They've never
have the best
seen
equipment. We have, I believe, very quickly. We talked about that with President Putin. He was very impressed with what he saw because nobody's ever seen anything quite like it. You know, Iran was a very powerful military country with all of the missiles. Now, you had the double attack. You had the original attack with us and Israel, and that knocked them for a loop. Then you had the B-2 bombers, which took out their nuclear capability, and they would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks to 4 weeks. And they would have used it long before this press conference. And we might have had a much different press conference if we had a press conference at all. But it's been amazing. The military success that we've had is truly unprecedented.
You've told your congressional colleagues that you will not sign any piece of legislation until the Save America Act is passed. Does that include the confirmation of Senator Mullen as your next DHS secretary? Does that mean a DHS funding bill? And Senator Thune said today, it's not a matter of whether or not your Republican colleagues agree with the policy, it's about changing the process. In other words, getting rid of the filibuster to get there.
So in order to get it, you're going to need Democrat votes. And what we're saying is the Save America, not the SAVE Act, which nobody knew what it was, the Save America Act, the Save America Act. And that's voter ID. We want voter ID. We want to be able to...
We already know this. We report on all of that.
If we're going to have elections that are so corrupt,
Okay.
and it's turned out to be totally dishonest, then we're going to fight for it.
Next question.
Yeah.
Iran activated any sleeper cells inside the U.S. There's reports that they have pressed that trigger button to activate those cells, at least abroad.
Well, they've been trying for a long time. We've been very much on top of it. One of the things we have to do is get the Democrats to stop the Democrat shutdown, because, as you know, the apparatus that looks into that, Schumer and the Democrats have shut it down, which tells you they probably hate our country a lot. But the Democrats have to open that up. But we've got very, very good intelligence into that. We know a lot of different things that have happened that have been very bad. A lot of them came in during the Biden open border period. But we have them under, we've got them, we're watching every single one of them. Yeah, we know a lot about them. The biggest problem we have is the Democrat shutdown. We know a lot about them. But the shutdown doesn't allow us to do what we have to do.
Do you have to take him out? Does he have a target on his back?
You mean the new Supreme Leader? You mean the son?
This is the last question that we're going to take, and this is the one that I was waiting for. Okay, here we go.
Do you have to take him out? Does he have a target on his back?
You mean the new Supreme Leader? You mean the son?
How can there be an Iran?
Well, I don't want to say that, but you know, I was disappointed because we think it's going to lead to just more of the same problem for the country. So I was disappointed to see their choice.
Okay, so we're going to stop it there. We're going to move on. We have to. We have a lot of stuff still to report on this morning, and we're going to go into overtime today. I can already tell. Prank gone wrong. This happened here, actually, in Georgia. Georgia teacher dies after being hit by student's car, and the student was 18. So let's go ahead and bring this up. Before we do, we need everyone to embrace their fuck-ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck-up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Embrace thy process. All right, here we go. Let's bring this up, and we'll discuss this crazy story.
Next story.
Very quick. It's just very quick. It's only like 3 minutes.
I want to bring you a very devastating story out of Georgia. A Georgia teacher was killed in a prank gone wrong. Knew the students were coming and was excited to catch them. The family revealing in this really sad story overall. I want to go out right now to Fox 5 Atlanta's Rob DiRienzo following this story and with the latest information. Rob.
Hey there, Michael. It really is an unbelievably tragic sequence of events. These students here at North Hall High School were trying to play a prank on one of their teachers, so they went to his house and threw toilet paper all over the property, as people do. But that's when things took an unimaginable turn. As you mentioned this afternoon or earlier today, that teacher's family has put out a statement encouraging that the prosecutor drop the charges against these teens involved. Now, I want to show you who we're talking about. This is 40-year-old math teacher and golf coach Jason Hughes here at North Hall High School. Now, according to the sheriff's office, the group of teens tried to toilet paper his yard. When he came outside, outside, deputies say the teens then jumped into their 2 cars, and as Hughes approached the street, he tripped and fell into the road, and then deputies say one of those cars hit Hughes.
What? That's fucking crazy sounding.
Tried to toilet paper his yard. When he came outside, deputies say the teens then jumped into their 2 cars, and as Hughes approached the street, he tripped and fell into the road, and then deputies say one of those cars hit Hughes.
What?
Deputies say the driver, 18-year-old Jaden Wallace, has been charged with vehicular homicide, but today the teacher's family put out a statement to put the record straight. They say there was never any confrontation. Hughes was never mad. He was actually playing along with the prank and, quote, waiting to catch them in the act. Their statement reads in part, quote, the students immediately tried to provide aid until the paramedics arrived, and Jason loved these students, and they loved him too. Our family fully supports getting the charges dropped for all involved. Now, just a little while ago, I asked a criminal defense attorney if the prosecutor could listen to the victim's family at this point. Listen.
Should take that into account. It doesn't mean it's dispositive. Just because the victim's family says we don't want to proceed doesn't mean that the prosecutor's just going to throw it out. The prosecutor will take that into account and will say, based on everything, including the wishes and requests of the victim's family, at that point, the prosecutor will then decide on whether to proceed or not to proceed.
Man, crazy.
And so, Mike, that is the big question here today. I did reach out to the local district attorney here in Hall County. He got back to me a little while ago. He said he wouldn't do an interview, but rest assured that the family of the deceased will be heard and taken into account as the matter moves forward. Meanwhile, the Hall County superintendent here is also echoing the grief being felt in this community. He said that this teacher gave so much to so many in numerous ways as he faithfully served God. Our hearts and prayers go out to his wife and family. The district says grief counselors were here on campus working with students throughout the day. They also held a private memorial service for themselves just to reflect on such a tragic day. And meanwhile, you got to keep in mind that their senior prom is just a couple days away, and these students were taking part in a ritual that so many have throughout the years, which is senior pranks. And unfortunately,
why did the fucking teacher go running into the street and then, like, why run in the street in the first place? But then he trips, falls, and then one of the cars runs him over. Damn. What a way to go out. You know what I mean? Like, that's terrible situation. All right, so let's see here. Now, I can't tell if this is something. This is not. Okay, this is just them discussing operations. We don't actually even need that, so we're going to skip over that. Okay, so we have U.S. soldier killed in Iran operations return home and dignified transfer. These are a little bit of a ceremony they do when they're bringing them back over, the dead bodies, unfortunately. And so,
all right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Eddie Mack. We're continuing to follow the latest development.
Because this is now the 7th official person.
It's day number 10.
But we reported that yesterday morning, and they did the transfer last night, and this is what that is.
End of Operation Epic Fury, a new post from the president after he spoke earlier today saying they're very much complete in terms of this
Hell yeah, Steve Posey.
operation, but also a stark warning for Iran there here on Truth Social, saying if Iran does anything to stop the flow of oil within the Strait of Hormuz, they will be hit by the United States of America 20
What's up, Brother Slim? Good morning to you.
times harder than they have been hit thus far. Additionally, we will take out easily destroyable targets that will make it virtually impossible for Iran to ever be built back as a nation. Again, death, fire, and fury will rain upon them, but I hope and pray that it does not happen. This is a gift from the United
What's up? We got David in the chat. Good morning to you.
States of America to China and all those nations that heavily use the Hormuz Strait. Hopefully, it's a gesture that will be greatly appreciated. And this after President Trump said earlier on today the fact that they will not let Iran hold the world hostage over this oil. So we're following that closely here on Live Now from Fox. And we also heard from the president earlier on today making mention of that 7th service member that tragically lost their life.
We're going to show you that picture real quick here.
Now learning the identity. In Kentucky, the Sergeant Benjamin Pennington, the service member that was killed in this ongoing
the 7th
conflict in Iran, as the Department of Defense identified that 7th soldier killed.
He actually died in Saudi Arabia
in combat while supporting Operation Epic Fury. Identified him as Sergeant Benjamin N. Pennington, a 26-year-old of Glendale, Kentucky. Glendale, small town located south of Elizabethtown, Kentucky. The DOD says Pennington died Sunday from injuries sustained during an attack on March 1st at a Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. And they are right now.
He died in Saudi Arabia at one of the war bases.
hosting that dignified transfer in Dover with the Vice President J.D. Vance. We're going to take you out to this, and we're going to warn you there.
And this is now where we're going to see the ceremony of the transfer, where they're grabbing him from the plane. They do the whole, ceremony in honor of the fallen. Hegseth out. Vance is out there. Here's them walking that man out. And they'll put him into this van. Put his flag on there. And that's the ceremony. All right, so we're moving on. Trump is, quote-unquote, disappointed with Iran's choice for new leader, as you guys already heard him say in that earlier bit. But I'm sure there's more to be talked about here to figure out what's happening here.
I am Andy.
We're not going to listen to too much of this, but if there's something of value, cool, we'll listen to it. But if not, if it's speculation, if it's whatever, we're moving on. We got a lot to get through still.
President Trump said that potentially the conflict in Iran, he said, was, quote, pretty much completely...
What's up, brother Glare? Good morning.
Pretty much complete, as he talked about this being an excursion that had to be done. That's at a press conference earlier today in Doral, Florida. This was the president there just boarding Marine One back at Joint Base Andrews here on this Monday night. He also warned Iran about death, fire, and fury if they potentially try to...
Be safe out there, Ron Ratty. We'll see you on the flip side.
...to continue to block that Strait of Hormuz. All right, let's continue on here live now from Fox. Bring in Executive Director, friend of the program with the FDD, Jonathan Schanzer. He also said this is pretty much complete, but also Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, said it's just beginning. How do we square these two? How can both be true? Is it possible?
I mean, technically it's possible. We could be near the end, or things could be wrapping up, but still very much unsettled with the regime in Iran. And of course, we've heard their threats about closing the Strait of Hormuz. The IRGC has also said that they will determine when this war ends, that the United States opened the war, and that they will decide when it's closed. I don't get a sense that we're reaching an end of hostilities. I do know that there are countries that have tried to engage with the Islamic Republic, Turkey being one of them. I've heard about some of the other countries in the region that may have also done some outreach. I am not convinced at all that they have made the headway that Donald Trump thinks they may have. But that said, I do also believe that the Islamic Republic would be quite pleased if the United States and Israel stopped firing, because they've sustained quite a beating over the last week and a half or so. I think they would love nothing more than for this thing to end. So I think some of this might be face-saving right now. The one thing, Andy, that...
Yeah, I got you, Sterling Will.
I would note is that I don't think the Israelis are done. And I do think that it's possible that the United States decides that they've achieved what they needed to achieve from a military perspective, and I would fully appreciate that and understand it. Well, the Israelis are thinking, well, we have a regime to bring down, and as long as the skies over Iran are still clear, perhaps they would go ahead and do that. But that would be...
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Cool story. Let's go and see if we actually have any type of breaking things here or images that we have not seen yet. I'm scrolling through real quick because we're not going to waste our time if it's just discussion mode. Cool. We're moving on. All right. So we obviously know oil's going up, and this is going to be affecting all of us here at home. We're going to discuss oil prices quickly before we get into the war update that we got from Hegseth and General Caine this morning at the Pentagon. And they are vowing intense day of strikes on Iran today. So anyways, let's do this first, and then we'll get into that. Also, you know what we haven't fucking done yet? We haven't done the money part, yo.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
That's actual factuals.
Denied.
But it's okay. I still love you guys. All right, here we go.
As we continue to follow more of the
What's up,
impacts from the
Agrippas?
war
Good morning.
happening now in the Middle East, a lot of those impacts being far and wide here, affecting several Americans in the U.S. as well, as they are continuing to track the price of oil. Taking a look here at a social media post courtesy of Fox Business, it says crude oil prices exceed $100 a barrel as war in Iran disrupts production shipping. Now, this impacting several cities and...
Shit, we got a raid from Black Dragon. Let's go, bro. Good morning to you, kind sir, and all of the following of Black Dragon. Very much appreciate you guys hanging out with us this morning. We're discussing a little bit about Iran and currently about crude oil prices and the rise of it. Real quick, we got a Grillbus coming in and gifting out 5 gifted memberships as well. Let's go. Not only helping me, but helping 5 others in the IWF, my man. Thank you for making it rain. I mean to say, I was looking at raid up here. Thank you for making it rain in the chat, bro. Thank you very much. All right, here we go. Thank you, guys.
Across the U.S., and we do have team coverage this morning of those impacts. So joining us live from our team at Fox 35 in Orlando is Amanda Ruiz. But first, we're going to send it over to our team at Fox 2 in Detroit. Robin Murdoch has more on the impact there. Robin.
Good morning. Yeah, drivers are definitely digging a lot deeper into their pockets to fill up on gas. And many of them right now, they're having to make some very difficult decisions. They're having to decide between paying their bills and paying for gas. Now, I do want to step out of the way because we are at a pretty busy gas station right now in a suburb of Detroit. We're in Southfield, where the price of gas right now is $3.54 a gallon. And that is if you are paying for cash. It's about...
Man, I got a crazy image that I posted on my Discord last night sometime, and I'm going to show you this. Look at this shit. Real quick. Gas prices are higher than my socks. And there's a image of $8.35 for regular. Isn't that shit crazy? And then diesel is $8.55. That's fucking crazy. All right, back to this.
15 cents more if you are paying for credit right now. And the average price for gas in Michigan currently is about $358 a gallon. That is up about 60 cents from last week. And it is not...
Yeah, that was specific from California, by the way. I should have been more specific on that.
Expected to get better anytime soon. Michigan currently ranks about 9th in the nation in terms of the price.
Let me check. I wish they could have that integrated into StreamYard where I could actually see it. Thank you for the 100 Two-Wheel Jesus for the jewels. I very much appreciate it.
At the pump. And the price of crude oil, as you just mentioned, it is reaching record levels since 2022. All of this, of course, connected to the conflict in the Middle East. Take a listen to what drivers here in Michigan are saying.
Kind of crazy, but if it's already paid for, why are they going up on it? That's my thought.
Fortunately, I don't have to drive very often, so it doesn't hurt me as bad as it does my husband, who, travels a half hour each way to work. But having the larger vehicles, it really does add up.
You're noticing the difference already.
Let me know how much normal gasoline costs you guys right now. How much does it cost a gallon for wherever you guys are at in the United States? Or in the world, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, just tough on everybody. People got to cut their lawns and all that, and go to work, and so other than that, I'm pretty much fed up with it.
Everyone's going to be fed up with it.
And that's a similar sentiment that we are hearing from drivers. A lot of them fed up with the gas prices now.
I got you, Steve Posey.
Stupid. According to AAA here in Michigan, Michigan drivers are seeing the highest gas prices since August of 2024, and analysts do expect that we could hit $4 or even more. We are live here in Southfield this morning. I'm Robin Murdoch. I'll send it right back to you.
All right, Robin, thank you so much.
All right, so now we're going to go ahead and jump right into what we need to get into here is the war update from Hegseth and the Pentagon over there, or at the Pentagon. With General Caine. Let's go ahead and bring that up for you guys here. And 3, 2, 1.
Well, to our fellow Americans, brave warriors, and steadfast allies, good morning. As someone who
led troops, led soldiers in the streets of Baghdad and Samarra, Iraq, and who trained counterinsurgents in Kabul, Afghanistan, and who still carries the weight of brothers lost to Iranian terrorist proxies, many backed by the same Iranian regime we're confronting now. This fight, Operation Epic Fury, it hits home. Our generation understands this fight. For 47 years, these
What's up, Ratchet?
barbaric savages in the Iranian regime have murdered our brothers in arms, my guys, your guys,
Crystal,
our guys,
good morning.
through their terrorist proxies and cowardly attacks. Now they race toward a nuclear bomb to hold the world hostage. The Iranians have targeted and killed thousands of my American brothers. That race to a nuclear bomb, President Trump will never allow it. Not now, not ever, not on our watch. The mullahs are desperate and scrambling. Like the terrorist cowards they are, they fire missiles from schools and hospitals, deliberately targeting innocents, because they know their military is being systematically degraded and annihilated. Iran's neighbors, and in some cases, former allies in the Gulf, they've abandoned them. And their proxies, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas, either broken, ineffective, or on the sidelines. Iran stands alone, and they are badly losing. On day 10 of Operation Epic Fury, we are winning with an overwhelming and unrelenting focus on our objectives, which are the same as the day I gave my first briefing here on Operation Epic Fury. They're straightforward, and we are executing them with ruthless precision. One, destroy their missile stockpiles, their missile launchers, and their defense industrial base, missiles and their ability to make them. Two, destroy their navy. And three, permanently deny Iran nuclear weapons forever. It's a laser-focused, maximum authority mission delivered with overwhelming and unrelenting precision. No hesitation, no half measures. As President Trump declared yesterday, we're crushing the enemy in an overwhelming display of technical skill and military force. We will not relent until the enemy is totally and decisively defeated. But we do so.
What's up, brother Hardwire? Good. Hopefully you're enjoying your Taco Tuesday so far, your topless Taco Tuesday.
So on our timeline and at our choosing. For example, today will be yet again our most intense day of strikes inside Iran. The most fighters, the most bombers, the most strikes. Intelligence more refined and better than ever. So that's on one hand. On the other hand, the last 24 hours have seen Iran fire the lowest number of missiles they've been capable of firing yet. Just the bifurcation, just the trend lines that we talked about on our first briefing. You see, this is not 2003. This is not endless nation building under those types of quagmires we saw under Bush or Obama. It's not even close. Our generation of soldier will not let that happen again, and nor will this president, who very clearly ran against those kinds of never-ending, nebulously scoped missions. Those days are dead. Instead, we're winning decisively with brutal efficiency, total air dominance, and an unbreakable will to accomplish the president's objectives on our timeline. We stay locked on the target because here at the Department of War, that's our job. Now, the chairman and I, having just returned from Dover last night, our troops and their families and the enormous sacrifice that they make is certainly heavy on my mind. So I'll close with scripture, drawing strength from Psalm 144. Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. He is my loving God and my fortress, my stronghold and my deliverer, my shield, in whom I take refuge. May the Lord grant unyielding strength and refuge to our warriors, unbreakable protection to them and our homeland, and total victory over those who seek to harm them. And amen. God bless our troops and this mission. Mr. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. I'm here today to continue the updates to the American people and to those in the room on Operation Epic Fury. First, let me start with honoring our fallen. As the Secretary said, on Saturday and again last night at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware, our nation's leaders honored our returning fallen as they arrived home for their final time. Last week, I shared a few of the names, and today I want to share the rest. Major Jeffrey O'Brien and Chief Warrant Officer 3 Robert Marzan were the final two fallen to return home and members of the U.S. Army Reserve's 103rd Sustainment Command out of Des Moines, Iowa. Last night, as the news has been reporting, we honored the return of Staff Sergeant Benjamin Pennington of the U.S. Army's 1st Space Brigade from Fort Carson, Colorado. When I met Ben's family last night, his mom, his dad, and his sister, they showed me a picture, a drawing that Ben had made when he was in kindergarten. It was clear all the way back then that Ben wanted to do one thing in his life, and he wanted to serve his country and be a soldier. And to the Penningtons, just know how Ben was absolutely a great one. And finally,
Steve, I got you, homie.
Why are you gay?
Major Sorfleet Davius, who returned home this weekend after sadly passing away from a medical condition while on duty in Kuwait. We welcome him home as well and mourn with his family. To the families and the families of all of our fallen, we share in your profound grief. The Joint Force remains eternally grateful for your sacrifice and the gift of a great example that your service members have given all of us. I want you to know that their names will never be forgotten, and you and your family are part of our Joint Force family forever. Let me talk a little bit about the progress thus far, acknowledging that Admiral Cooper will likely continue to give updates from CENTCOM. As the Secretary said, we're in the 10th, moving into the 11th day of Operation Epic Fury. The Joint Force remains focused on 3 military objectives. Continue to destroy Iranian ballistic missiles and drone capability in order to prevent attacks on the U.S. and others throughout the region. And this means attacking launch sites, command and control nodes, stockpiles before they can threaten our personnel, our facilities, and our partners. Second, we continue to strike the Iranian Navy and their capabilities in order to do things like sustain movement through the Straits of Hormuz. And third, we continue to start working on and going deeper into Iran's military and industrial base in order to prevent the regime from being able to attack Americans, our interests, and our partners for years to come and project power outside their borders. This means servicing production facilities, research and development sites, and infrastructure. Let me turn to the map. We're going to try digital today to prevent laser injury. Since our last update, CENTCOM continues to make progress across the southern flank. To date, they've struck more than 5,000 targets. U.S. Strategic Command bombers recently dropped dozens of 2,000-pound GPS-penetrating weapons on deeply buried missile launchers across the southern flank.
Now, this was just about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, by the way.
We also have struck several one-way drone factories to get at the heart of their autonomous capability. And of course, alongside our regional partners along the southern flank, continue to execute intercepts against one-way attack drones using fighters and attack helicopters. Our strikes mean we've made significant progress in reducing the number of missile and drone attacks out of Iran. Ballistic missile attacks continue to trend downward, 90% from where they've started, and one-way attack drones have decreased 83% since the beginning of the operation. A testament to our air defenders and our air defense systems, and as I said, our partners in the region continue to do great work as well.
Be safe out there, Brother Frank.
Second, we're making substantial progress towards destroying the Navy. In the first 10 days of the conflict, we're more than 50 Iranian naval ships into the campaign using a combination of artillery, fighters, bombers, and sea-launched missiles. As Admiral Cooper noted last Thursday, we struck and sank an Iranian drone carrier ship, and U.S. CENTCOM continues today to hunt and strike mine-laying vessels and mine storage facilities. This work will continue. Third, against our objectives, we've begun to target Iran's military and industrial complex, again, focusing on centers of gravity to get upstream of the shooters out in the field in order to deny them the ability to continue to generate those one-way attack drones. Let me spend a minute talking about the Joint Force. Across the area of responsibility, this is gritty and tireless work, and I cannot begin to explain how incredibly proud I am of the extraordinary courage, tenacity, and grit and professionalism within the Joint Force. Last time I had a chance to talk about the Army's incredible logisticians who are out there sustaining the fight. Today I want to highlight a few groups of sailors. First, I want to thank the men and women of the Ford Carrier Strike Group and their families, and let all of them know how grateful I am for their leadership and service. The crews on board this strike group have already been endured months at sea, only to get their deployment extended. These exceptional Americans, rogered up, all supported by their families, continue to stand the watch, taking the fight to the enemy over and over again, night after night. Aboard ships like the USS Ford and the Abraham Lincoln are a special group of sailors I want to highlight today. These are the men and women, the sailors up on the roof running operations on the flight deck. With an average age of the early 20s, these are the unsung heroes of naval aviation. These young sailors, known for wearing yellow shirts, are in charge of the catapults, taxiing jets around on the flight deck, shooting jets off the front end, and recovering jets off the back end. They are literally involved with every single movement on the roof on an aircraft carrier. They are the last ones that a naval aviator sees before getting shot off the front end, and the first one that a naval aviator sees after safely trapping on the back end. And just for a minute, imagine you're standing on that aircraft carrier flight deck. There's 30 knots of wind in your face. The deck is slippery, covered in grease. It's noisy. There are propellers spinning. There's jet blast everywhere. The helicopters are running. Your head is on a swivel, and you're trying to direct a multi-million-dollar fighter into a 1-foot square box so that those naval aviators can be shot off into the black of night to go do America's work. Those jets are fully loaded with missiles and bombs, and they are a world-class team combined with the naval aviation and the aviators in those jets. This beautiful symphony of American spirit is the definition of perfectly organized chaos. And these crews do it every single time the carrier is at work. Oh, by the way, in the middle of the night and oftentimes in the pouring rain. These are dedicated young people who take the road less traveled to serve their great nation, doing the deeds that we need them to do. America's enlisted force is the pride of every nation's military, certainly ours, and the envy of every other one as well. Each and every one of them out there across the joint force are extraordinary, and in particular today I want to highlight the yellow shirts. Ladies and gentlemen, our work continues. It'll continue to be difficult. I ask every American to keep our deployed force and their families in our thoughts.
What's up, Crystal Kitten? Good morning to you.
Combat deployments can be tough on the force and the families, and it's important that we continue to remember that. I remain deeply humbled by the 2.8 million members of the Joint Force, and I'll end where I started, and that's remembering our fallen and their families whose sacrifice will be felt forever. And with that, I'll take some questions with the Secretary.
A beautiful symphony of American spirit. Well said, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, sir.
And I will just note that no other country in the world is capable of executing what the chairman just described. Day after day, night after night, unrelenting. Well said. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Alexandra Ingersoll, One America News. You talked, Mr. Secretary, you talked at the conference in Florida on Thursday that there was a 90% missile capabilities degradation, and I know the chairman just repeated those numbers. We've seen the most amount of fighting these past 5 days. Is there any update to those percentages? And also, are you able to give any quantification of degradation to the enemy's nuclear capabilities yet?
What those numbers represent is a persistent low ability to respond, which is what we're looking for, right? It's if the enemy can simply wait and then project power, that's problematic. And we've seen some spurts here or there, but ultimately the trend lines, if you look at the charts that we look at every day, have gone like this down to a flat. It doesn't mean they won't be able to project. It doesn't mean they, our air defenders still don't have to defend. They do, but that is strong evidence of degradation, along with the battle damage assessment that the Joint Staff does, which takes time. You've got to look at imagery and recognize whether something's been simply degraded or it's been destroyed, or whether an underground facility has been collapsed or completely obliterated. So there's differences in how you evaluate that, but the numbers staying that low is a demonstration of the efficacy for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Secretary. There's been reports that the new leader of Iran has been wounded. Do you know if this is true and what his condition is? And then another one, President Trump said he had a really good call with President Putin yesterday. Will Russia be aiding us in this conflict? And can you share anything on that?
Well, the president, as I've said before, maintains strong relationships with world leaders, which creates opportunities and options for us in very dynamic ways. So the president said it was a good call. I was not on it, but those that were said it was a strong call, reaffirming hopefully the opportunity for some peace in Russia, Ukraine, and also a recognition that as it pertains to this conflict, they should not be involved. The first question was
on the new leader of Iran. There's reports that he's been wounded.
Oh, the new leader of Iran. He would be wise to heed the words of our president, which is to not pursue nuclear weapons and come out and state as such. As far as his status, that's not something I can comment on right now. Yeah, right here.
Correct. Mr. Secretary, Eric Schmidt with the New York Times. A question for you first. Last week you talked about this being the beginnings of an air campaign that could last 3 to 8 weeks. Can you give us your assessment on where we are now? And Mr. Chairman, in any conflict, the enemy or the adversary adapts to the tactics it faces. Can you talk about the most challenging adaptation the Iranian military has made to the U.S. military? What challenges are you facing most right now? Thank you.
I appreciate the question. Where we are is in a very strong place, giving the President of the United States maximum options. And from the beginning, from this podium, we haven't stated how long it will take. Our will is endless. Ultimately, the President gets to determine the end state of those objectives, right? But
what's up, Bonsai?
What he's said continually, and I want the American people to understand, is this is not endless. It's not protracted. We're not allowing mission creep. The president has set a very specific mission to accomplish, and our job is to unrelentingly deliver that. Now, he gets to control the throttle. He's the one deciding, he's the one elected on behalf of the American people when we're achieving those particular objectives. And so it's not for me to posit whether it's the beginning, the middle, or the end. That's his, and he'll continue to communicate that. What we serve him as is we give him updates on a daily basis of exactly where.
Well, in all fairness, Charlie, I also speak with my hands. When I speak like publicly or like I'm doing it right fucking now. I'm not even thinking about it. But yeah, I speak with my hands too.
We are, so he can make that determination on the throttle. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for the question on adaptation. As you're right, no plan survives first contact with the enemy or Murphy. They're adapting, as are we. Of course, we have very entrepreneurial warfighters out there. I'd rather not, for operational security reasons, tell them what's working. So I'm going to not answer that question based on that. But we are watching what they're doing, and we are adapting faster than they are.
Are they more formidable than you anticipated, General?
I mean, I think they're fighting, and I respect that, but I don't think they're more formidable than what we thought.
Secretary Hegseth, thank you. Jordan Conrad from Gateway Pundit. Axios reported, citing U.S. and Israeli sources, that the U.S. was not happy with strikes on 30 fuel depots in Iran. While this is anonymous sourcing, it seems kind of congruent with what President Trump said yesterday, that there's certain spots they don't want to hit relating to energy infrastructure that will take a long time to rebuild. And whether this reporting is true or not, what's your message to Americans, those who supported the president, and those who aren't really in favor of this war and who worry that Israel might be taking advantage of the U.S.'s backing? And then for Mr. Chairman, for you, I wanted to ask, when you say that we're moving inland, what capabilities does Iran have to shoot down jets over their land? And would that trigger some kind of rescue operation that could risk a bigger ground operation?
Well, I would just state by saying Israel's been a really strong partner in this effort. Where they have different objectives, they've pursued them. Ultimately, we've stayed focused on ours. But what Iran has felt is the power of the world's two most powerful air forces. In that particular case, those weren't our strikes or that objective, or that wasn't necessarily our objective. But the president has made it clear to those concerns that we're not getting pulled.
Yes, by the way, we have 339 people in here. Make sure you guys double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. Hit that like button if you're on the horizontal. I very much appreciate you guys. You don't have to like all this craziness, I know, but listen, you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you for that.
In any direction. We're leading. The president is leading. He's determining where we want to go, what the outcome will be, what the end state is, with a very keen eye. And I understand those concerns because I've heard from a lot of people who I went through 20 years of those wars myself, worried about getting dragged in, worried about mission creep, worried about nation building or democracy expansion. That's never the perspective the president has pursued on this. Just because previous presidents and previous secretaries have decided to just pour more resources and more people in toward some unguided end state doesn't mean that's the way the world needs to look today. In fact, the American people voted for a different approach. But what the president also stated from the beginning was Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. And it's one thing to say it. It's easy to say. Anybody can say that. I mean, Barack Obama said that. But to do something about it takes courage and resolve. But in that courage and in that resolve, you can also be very scoped in what you're trying to execute to ensure that the sacrifice of Americans, American treasure, American lives, all of those properly meet the objective that you're trying to accomplish. And certainly, as someone I talked out front about what the Iranians have done to our generation, yes, we're clear-eyed about it. But my job is to keep it scoped, given the directive to the president to accomplish the mission.
Thank you for the question. Most of their higher-end surface-to-air missile systems are not factors at this point in time. We're able to move around fighters that are moving deeper with relative impunity. Always some risk out there. I don't want to say that there isn't, and we'll always maintain and retain capability of doing search and rescue type of things. But I don't want to get into the details. But thank you for the question.
Billy.
Thanks, Mr. Secretary. President Trump told our team on the ground early this morning that the thing that has surprised him the most during the course of this operation so far has been the Iranian regime attacking countries that are not attacking them. I'm curious if that surprised you as well. And General, curious if you were open to the possibility of escorting vessels through the Strait of Hormuz, and if you could describe some of the challenges of doing so.
Big mistake by the Iranian regime to start targeting its neighbors right away, exposing who they are and what they're all about, indiscriminate targeting, flailing recklessly at the beginning. I can't say that we anticipated necessarily that's exactly how they would react, but we knew it was a possibility. And I think it was a demonstration of the desperation of that regime then and that regime now, that they still think their pathway out is to try to alienate their Arab partners even more, who've instead decided to come to us and have been willing to go on the offense, have been giving us access, spacing, and overflight in a new partnership that will continue to remake the region the way that President Trump did with the Abraham Accords. So you're pushing those countries in our direction to support this effort, further alienating Iran. And I think it's worth underscoring. I see in the media banners that say, war expanding or war spread. It's actually the opposite. It's actually quite contained, and more of those countries are coming on side, recognizing that you can't live under a conventional umbrella with nuclear ambitions with a radical regime like that. Again, properly scoping the objectives in the process. And then you want to talk about the Strait?
Sure. On the potential, if tasked to escort, we'll look at the range of options to set the military conditions to be able to do that. And then, like we always do with every potential mission, come to the Secretary and the President with both what are the resources required, what is the command and control required, and what are the risks, and how do we mitigate those risks. So we're looking at a range of options there, and we'll figure out how to solve problems as they.
Real quick, Brother Glare coming in with the $1.99. My man, thank you very much. And he's saying dues paid. Absolutely, dues are paid. Dollar dues, very much appreciate you, kind sir.
Come to us.
But I would reiterate also to add to what the chairman said, the truth the president posted last night about that, saying if Iran does anything to stop the flow of oil within the Strait of Hormuz, they will be hit by the United States of America 20 times harder than they have been hit thus far. He goes on to say, death, fire, and fury will rain upon them. You've seen the truth and read it. But he takes very seriously the condition of that straits. We have capabilities that no other nation on earth has, and we're certainly working with our energy partners across the administration to control for that. That's part of that scoping of this. The world needs to understand this doesn't have, this isn't intended to be, nor is it something that will expand. We know exactly what we're attempting to achieve here, scoped properly, and the American people can count on that.
What's up, brother? GEG in the building. Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Secretary Hegseth. President Trump has long said that he wants to minimize the loss of life in war, which wherever it occurs in whatever country, which so many people obviously appreciate. Can you detail the specific measures the Pentagon is taking to minimize civilian casualties and strikes inside Iran? And secondarily, is the Pentagon prioritizing replenishment of precision-guided munitions, long-range strike weapons, or air defense interceptors? And can you share any details on which systems are being prioritized?
Yeah.
Jesus, get it out of your mouth, lady. We got Big Bisquick in the building. Shout out to my man as well. We got Steve Easy sending in $2, by the way, says, can't be a deadbeat, homie. Shit. I appreciate that, kind sir. Thank you very much for the $2. The dollar dues are paid, cuh.
Seeing it from the inside every single day, including this, no nation takes more precautions to ensure there's never targeting of civilians than the United States of America. From the boat strikes in the Caribbean, where every single strike is assessed to this campaign here, no nation in the history of warfare has ever attempted in every way possible to avoid civilian casualties. And frankly, that's a point that just isn't appreciated enough. Where things happen that need to be investigated, we will investigate to the question shouted in the back, that it's not. Open source is not the place to determine what did or did not happen. We take things very, very seriously and investigate them thoroughly, which takes time, and which is why it does take time. But ultimately, unlike Iran, who targets civilians indiscriminately, who we've seen in the intel moving rocket launchers into civilian neighborhoods, near schools, near hospitals, to try to prevent our ability to strike. That's how they operate. And then they set, the targeting of drones and missiles.
Real quick, I thought he was going to, end it right there pretty quickly, but he didn't. We got Papa Penguin coming in with the couple bucks with the dues coming in as well. Thank you very much. Dues are paid from Papa Penguin.
Toward civilian targets, hospitals, hotels, airports. CENTCOM's been very good about putting that information out. That's how terrorist regimes fight. They target civilians. We do not. And I can tell you this administration and this Pentagon focuses on that very, very closely.
Sir, this morning the Iranian government is saying a lot. They continue to say they're prepared for a long war. If that's the case, what could you tell the American people as far as the steps the Department of War is taking to make sure our troops have the protection and the resources they need as the mission continues?
I think there's one thing I can sleep quietly at night knowing is that we're giving every resource humanly possible to our troops on the front lines to ensure they're protected. In fact, as I said in that first press briefing, even before we set the offense, we set the defense. We made sure we had the ability to defend, and then we moved as many Americans off the bases and into other places as possible.
What's up, Wild Card, as well? Good morning to you.
So as this progresses, the chairman, or the question was asked of the chairman about how the enemy adapts. Well, of course, we adapt too. in real time, and to watch our warriors iterate on air defense and interdiction, on drones and missiles and how we get after it. It's incredible how they refine the tactics, bring in new assets to find different ways of getting at emerging technologies. So that is one of the things we're laser focused on every day. Yes, we're going on offense more effectively than any country in human history, but we're also ensuring that in every way possible we're defending the best Americans we have who wear our uniform, no doubt. Let's do one more.
Thanks.
One last
Hegseth.
question.
The president has indicated that maybe the operation will wrap up sooner than he thought it was going to. What's the plan once the U.S. stops military action? Will the U.S. play a role in the aftermath, or will they leave Iran to sort it out?
Ultimately, the aftermath is going to be in America's interest, our interests. We won't live under a nuclear blackmail scenario of conventional missiles that can target our people, which is why the objectives have been scoped from the beginning. Missiles, missile production, defense industrial base, Navy, all in service of ensuring they don't have nuclear power projection capabilities. That's what matters to President Trump. That's what matters to the American people. And ultimately, that's why we're so laser focused on ensuring those objectives and those objectives alone are met. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up for the morning. Make sure you guys join the Discord, by the way. Link is in the description down below. Listen, we'll continue the conversation as we always do in there. Much love, honor, respect to everybody. Thank you all for allowing me to be able to do this Monday through Friday. And then, of course, Saturday morning for members only. We have a great freaking time, don't we? So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys here tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. Until then, God bless everyone and stay safe. Also, stick around. We're going to be rating our buddy Chaotic Truth. He's live right now. So let him know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. See you guys.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire.